Well, as you know, I've been raving about Mr. Kocays for a good while. He's a good friend of mine. He's played gigs for me in Liverpool and at Cash 22 in Frodsham, and just love his music basically without blowing smoke up your ass, mate. I think it's really good. And when we had a couple of chats at Cash, you explained some of the, I can't remember the last song that you recorded, or you would put hours, but you explained how it will all come together. And I think you said it was like the thoughts in your head. But I know, obviously, you're based out of Manchester. I just saw some good news about yourself as well. You're going to be supporting the Rifles, who are a bit of an iconic, what's the word, cult heroes of 2000s, I'd say. I know a lot of people like them, don't they? So you're sort of supporting them at the Sugar Mill, which is a great venue in Stoke. But yeah, no, thank you for coming on, mate. I appreciate it. Um, the One of your lines, which I always make about, which we've talked about several times, is "I make up any old shite just to be with you." So that is one of the favourite lines you've done, mate. So, but yeah, no, welcome to the pod, mate.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much. Good to be here, and yeah, I've been trying to make this happen for a bit now, so
We have.
nice
Yeah.
to do so.
So we've done a few questions, haven't we, Caleb? So yeah, brilliant to have you on. Honestly, we're buzzing. I'm amazed that you're being on as well. Love your music. So thanks for coming on. So yeah, I suppose to start with, really, when did your music shift from something you just enjoy to something you need to do? When did you really, start practicing and think, actually, I'm pretty good at this. I want to make a bit of a go of it.
Um, so I always say like my music, my relationship with music started from my dad's iPod Classic. So like when we were driving and stuff, he'd like if we were going on holiday or whatever, he'd give me his iPod Classic and I'd just listen to all the tunes that were in there, and within that is mostly sort of like punk and indie and sort of maybe even like gothic stuff, and also some acoustic stuff as well. Um, that was sort of in the noughties, and I've been in love with music ever since, really. And when I was, I'd sort of dabbled with guitar, but I didn't really. I just wanted to be really good at guitar straight away. I was just impatient, like. And then when I was 13, my mates, Chris and Joe, who I still play with today, they were starting a band, and I just wanted to be in the band. I didn't really give a shit about what I was doing in that band. So I was like, "Oh, I'll do it, I'll play with you." And they were like, "Well, can you play bass?" I was like, I didn't even know what a fucking bass was, to be honest. But I was like, "Yeah, well, I'll give it a go, see what happens." And yeah, we were together for a couple of years. It was sort of like obviously very formative at that age, and we sort of provided the Friday and Saturday nights out for everybody who was like a similar age to us and went to school together. Yeah, we just provided the fun, and provided the reason to go out and have a good time, and yeah, made some amazing core memories from that, really. And then I sort of went on to play guitar and write songs from there. Um, and I've sort of dabbled with all sorts of different genres as well. And now I'm at sort of like I call it alternative folk, uh, but I think I just use the word alternative, A, to make it sound more interesting, and B, just to give yourself a bit of freedom. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't like having to stick to one sort of specific format or genre, and I think that it's important to pull influences from all sorts of walks of life and different styles of music, basically. Yeah.
And that blend of alternative folk with the modern textures that you put in there as well. Did you find that just developed over time, or was that something which you thought? Because I know you mentioned listening on the iPad there or iPod to a couple of different styles. Have you felt you've followed the journey to get there, or
I think that it's sort of a bit of a concoction of like the influences and styles and genres that I've done in the past. So, like when I first started playing in bands, I was in an indie band. We were like heavily influenced by like, Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. Very sort of the time, and then went on to we called it all sorts at the time, just because we thought we were the most original thing since, well, I don't know, sliced bread was probably original at some point. Um, and but that was probably mostly from my perspective punk influenced, and also sort of like, and then we sort of shifted into a different alias, but basically the same lineup of players. Sort of shaped into this sort of morph of like LCD sound system and the streets and Radiohead, and we also particularly me and my friend Aaron, who was in the band at the time, we also listened to a lot of sort of minimal techno, I suppose you'd call it, like with Aphex Twin and Jamie XX and who else? And Fortet. So we sort of tried to combine those elements, and it did work well. And I really enjoyed the material that we produced from that. And then basically, I just wanted to go on my own and sort of take things back to basics with guitar and stuff. And the sort of modern textures that you mentioned came from just getting in the studio with my mate Jack, who's an amazing producer and an incredible strings player, and just experimenting in the studio and trying to draw in those influences that I've picked up along the way, basically.
Yeah. And you mentioned writing. So when you write a song, not that I'm going to write a song, but when you write a song, where do you begin and how do you know it's finished? Did you have a starting point or a word or a sentence? Where'd you start?
Um, I think with me, I try and I try and not think about it too much, you know. I think when you think about writing a song too much, especially like in my case anyway, it just makes everything harder, you know. I think it's important to just enjoy the process, and if you wake up one day and you've sort of written a song, then happy days, you know, and if you've not finished it, don't worry about finishing it too much if it's not coming to you at the time, you know. I think the way in which I come about writing a song is just dicking about on a guitar, and like even it just like if I'm watching EastEnders or something, I'll just be playing guitar like, and something might come up and I'll go, oh, I like that, and then I'll either write some lyrics or find some sort of old lyrics that I've written, and it might just be like a verse that I've written ages ago, but I really liked it, and it's never fit in a particular song or whatever. And yeah, I sort of go from there really, and see what happens.
It makes perfect sense. Brilliant that. And your lyrics, I know your lyrics are deeply personal and deeply personal to yourself. Did you ever think, oh, I'm not too sure about putting this in, or do you think it's me and not ours, so it's just going in there?
I never think about it in terms of like I'll share my story with anybody. Like
Yeah.
I've got no qualms about that whatsoever. Um, but I have in the past written like songs about people, and I think, and I have often worried like, am I sharing too much about them? Because obviously that's not something that they can control, but or it's sort of like I suppose yeah, it's a very personal experience for me, and obviously I'm just writing about my perspective, but I also don't want to upset or piss people off who don't deserve it. Do you know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've got no problem with writing about anything that's just affects me and my feelings. You know.
Yeah. I can relate to that a little bit because doing this podcast and stuff, I know we've only got a really small audience, but you do say things and then think, should I have said that type thing? And I suppose
Yeah, yeah,
it's a bit like your music. When you put something in the music, once you've put it out there, it's out there, isn't it?
exactly, mate. Yeah, it's like it's on the internet forever. So
Yeah,
even when you delete it, it'll be somewhere.
yeah. And do you write all your own music then, Caleb?
Yeah, yeah. I write all my own music. Often have like in influence and inputs with friends and producers and stuff like that. I think like when I've been in bands and wrote songs, I've always sort of come to the rehearsal room or whatever with the bare bones of it and just with maybe just chords and lyrics or maybe just chords or maybe just lyrics. And that way, particularly when you're performing or writing or playing with people, um, everybody can feel involved, but also I just think that everybody's sort of individual influences uh, within a track and putting their touch on it can often make it just a better product. And that's definitely been the case for me. Like even when I've been playing on my own, when I go to the studio, I'll like speak to Jack, who I mentioned previously, and see about what his input could be towards the song, and we just try things out. And I think, even when you're a solo artist, collaboration's still key.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about collaborating. You've sort of answered that as well, so thank you, mate. You beat me to it on that one.
All right, mate.
And
Two
yeah,
stone.
I love loads of your song. I love Watch the Road. That's my favourite song of yours. So the likes of that song. Did that come from anywhere?
I bought. I got a new guitar. My mum had bought me a guitar for my birthday a few years ago. It's a cracking thing. It's called a Gretsch. Oh, I can't remember what it's called actually. I don't know. I can't remember. It's like it's basically it's called a parlor guitar, and they were sort of popularized in the 20s to play with it within like bars or parlors.
Mm.
They've got like a tinny sort of sound that's really charming, and I was just noodling on that, and it just came from there really. And then I sort of wrote, how it sort of like goes into a different song, if
Yeah.
you like. And I sort of wrote it separately really, and then put it together, and I thought, well, that works. But my confession for that anecdote is that I actually took that guitar to a festival, and I don't know where it is.
But you've lost it.
I've fucking lost it. I've never told my mum, and she's never asked me like, "Oh, why don't you play with that guitar? I bought you." But I don't have a fucking clue where it was. I used to work at festivals, and I took that with me once, and fuck knows, it's probably on some landfill or in some bastard's living room somewhere.
And what's it called again? What guitar is it called?
The type of guitar is a parlor guitar, and it's a Gretsch, and they're worth about 200 quid. I can't remember. That's about it that I can remember. But yeah, if anybody's got it or has seen it, let me know.
There you go. That's our appeal. If anyone's got one and got one spare, donate it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant. And I suppose one of the questions I had jotted down here as well, as an independent artist, what's the hardest part of the journey so far? And how tough is the industry?
Mm. I think the hardest part of it is, even though I actually personally feel like I can handle rejection quite well, but it's the constant, like, particularly now with the pressure that you have as an artist to post. Well, probably that we all have, if we all have to some degree in whatever respects, to be a constant or regular sort of poster or um, content creator, and that is sort of so definitive to your career. And I have really tried in the past, and when you've put a lot of effort into something, and then it's received with very minimal views or very minimal engagement, it's not easy to admit, in my opinion, but it does bring me down, because
Yeah,
you're passionate and you're hardworking and you're chasing a dream, and it's not being received in the way that you intend it to be. And to be honest with you, like in regards to like content creation, it's not what any artist wants to do primarily. So when people are constantly saying that this is definitive to your career and you need to sort of make it a success, and you don't really want to do it anyway, to some degree, it can be very, very disheartening. And it's sort of like you're constantly hitting your head against the wall sometimes. So I took a bit of a step back from it. I I did um I did do I did sign to like an agency that specialize in like TikTok lives, and I think anybody can go on TikTok live now, but it was at a point where you could only go on TikTok live if you had over a certain amount of followers, but they basically allowed me to bypass that. And it was basically like online busking, and I actually really enjoyed it. But then I was let down by the agency, messed about a bit, and I just sort of ran out of steam with it all, and it's and I've found it quite hard to pick myself up in regards to like social media presence since then, really. Um, and also, I think that, well, as sort of like a conclusion to all that, I would just say to myself and anybody else who sort of resonates with this is that these things just don't define who you are and what you're passionate about whatsoever. You should always you shouldn't let the amount of engagement on a post define how you feel towards your art, basically. Um,
yeah. I definitely agree with that, mate. And I think we look for that acceptance, don't we, or that validation, especially when you've put
yeah,
a lot of work into it. But you don't know what's in the background between the algorithms and who it gets shared with and different things. We've done it on this podcast. We've posted things. It's got like 3 or 4 likes, and it's normally us us on the pod that's liking it. But again, as long as you're happy with what you've done and
yeah,
you feel it's, as you said, a piece of art, why should that bother you? That's why I agree, mate. Absolutely.
yeah. Well, fucking Van Gogh and all them, they didn't get a lot of uh, notice until they copped it, did they? So
Yeah.
maybe when we're all fucking 6 feet under, there'll
Which,
be millions of people watching this podcast.
yeah, your music will be number one. Podcast will be one on the van.
Yeah, yeah,
No, great. Well, listen, I've got a lot of footy to talk to you about as well, if that's okay. But I'll open up
yeah,
to the floor first, see if any of the lads have got any questions for you, Walter. Oh,
sure.
sorry.
So,
I've got a couple for you, mate. A couple of random ones. You talked about the streets and stuff. Did you ever get any? Did you ever listen to Sleaford Mods, by the way?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love
Yeah,
stuff.
I've only just recently got into that album with Job Seeker and Fizzy on. I don't
Mm,
know if the lads, but my lad absolutely loves it. Like so, yeah,
nice.
just lyrically absolutely brilliant. And I like what they do about them cheap tickets as well. They have like people on low income. They have £5
Yeah,
tickets, don't they? Which I think is fucking
yeah.
brilliant. So good one. Another random one for you. What's your favourite pub in Manchester City Centre? Can't be
In the
Dids.
city
Can't be
centre,
Didsbury. I know you did to be based sometimes.
in the city centre, Peveril of the Peaks up there.
Oh, mate, what a shout! What a shout!
Yeah. It's like going back into the. It's
Yeah,
like closest thing you could be to like the Rovers' return off Corrie in the 70s.
yeah.
It's fucking yeah, it's great in there.
That's in my top probably three. I'm gonna say Gulliver's is probably my favourite.
Gulliver's is good, yeah.
Yeah,
Castle's good.
yeah. It's always rammed in there though, so I was good. Gulliver's a bit.
Yeah, true. It's better in the week. I just prefer going out in the week when there's less people there.
Yeah, yeah,
In general, like it's just honestly like if I walk into a bar and it's fucking rammed, I don't generally want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, you picked two of my favourites there, mate. Both got decent jukeboxes as well. Good beers on
Yeah,
tap.
yeah, yeah. I love a
Bill,
good jukebox, man.
yeah,
Love a
happy
good
days,
jukebox.
mate.
There's
And
another
go on, sorry,
pub.
mate.
I can't remember what it's called, and it's actually quite a new pub, I think. Chris would be able to tell me. Chris plays keys for me if you didn't know. But it's I don't even know where it's near, to be honest. It's a bit of useless information, but I'll try and remember.
If you can, mate. Good stuff. And I was going to ask you about Glastonbury because
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was really pleased to see you on there, mate. And you know, for someone who's been on some of my gigs to play at Glastonbury, no matter how big the tent was or whatever, I was just going to sound a bit cheesy. I was really proud that you were playing there, mate. So
Thanks, mate.
it was just good to see, mate. And yeah, how was it?
Yeah, it was all right. No, it was fucking great, man. So I did it last year, 25 and 24. 24 and 25, I played it. It's called the Hive. It's like in between. It's like sort of like the main walkway between the other stage and the pyramid. So you get a lot of footfall in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually played in, oh God, something barn. It's bad, I can't remember. It's like a if I don't know if any of you have ever been to Glastonbury, but there's like the green fields and green futures area. That's probably like the most sort of like traditional Glastonbury festival influenced like on the site. And I've always wanted to play in that area because there's a lot of folk and it's just really nice vibes. Like, Glastonbury it's definitely there's definitely like I think 20,000 too many people there. Like especially sort of like there's a old railway track which is like sort of one of the main walkways, especially like late at night, and like the bottlenecking that happens in there. It's bad. Like it's like I know some people that have been like caught up in a bit of a crush there, and I worry that at some point something bad is going to happen. And I think that it does need to be less tickets sold by the festival. So yeah, it like Green Futures and Green Fields at Glastonbury is such a great place to go. Like especially when you feel a bit overwhelmed, just with the sheer like volume and uh, the occasion basically. Like I've especially in 2024 when I played I was playing on the Sunday, and I just had all week to think about it. And obviously you have a few sherbets when you're there, so you know what I mean, that doesn't fucking help, and neither does the lack of sleep. And I really got in my head about it. And as soon as I was on stage, it all went away, but yeah, it's my favorite festival in the world, like regardless to its faults and its flaws. It's such a special place, and I don't often think the bigger festivals are necessarily the best, but I think Glastonbury definitely trumps most festivals, basically. And yeah, it was a fucking joy to play, and hopefully after this fallow year, do it again if they'll have me back. If you're watching.
That's right, mate. And then last question from me. Put you on the spot here, mate. When's the next single out?
Well, I was planning. I've got a single ready to go, but there's been a spanner in the works, but it's a very good spanner. So what what might initially be a bummer in terms of like getting a new single out, good things come to those who wait, Ian. So just yeah, stick around, and some bigger things might come in the next sort of 6 to 12 months.
Good to hear, mate. I was going to ask you about the you run was it an open mic you run in Manchester and Disbury or
Yeah, so I've run an events company, I suppose you call it. I have never really know what to. I need to work on a better elevator pitch, but I run, yeah, an events company, let's call it, with Chris who plays keys in the band. We're called Low Tide Collective. We run open mics, ticketed gigs, mainly in Manchester and Staffordshire, particularly at Stoke-on-Trent. And yeah, we in terms of the open mics, something that I identified whilst originally forming or yeah, forming this project is that how great open mics can be for people's development when you're playing, especially those sort of early stages and also like just for the community sense of it, you meet people that are like-minded and trying to do similar things and honestly open mics to me are so important for the music industry, and they're not celebrated anywhere near enough. I think there's a lot of cliches with open mics that need to be sort of broken, and I think the industry should celebrate open mics a lot more because what we've been able to do by running open mics across Manchester and Stoke-on-Trent is develop people's sort of sound if that's what they want or help people get sort of paid work and also sort of develop our roster as well if somebody wants to work with us then we can invite them down to come and perform at our open one of our open mics and we can have an open discussion about whether people just want to fuck around for 15 minutes on stage which is sound or people are more serious about what they want to do and yeah, it's a real like sort of organic field to grow musicians basically. And to do that is a for a job is a real privilege. And it helps me to help other people. So yeah, it's wicked, man. Love it.
Nice. I've noticed my favourite pub in Liverpool, which we've talked about this several times in the podcast, the dispensary.
Mm.
They do one on Monday nights. So Monday nights,
Yeah,
everyone's a bit grim. But if you ever fancied a pint in Liverpool on a Monday night, let me know and I'll meet you there, mate. And
I would be up for that. I
they
love
do Beamish, Murphy's, and Guinness, and they do Tato Crisp as well. So
cracking. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
run by a guy called John Witherspoon, is it?
No, mate, it's not. No,
That's an artist you want to check out
I don't
from
think so. Anyway, I don't think so.
Guy from Liverpool. He's a singer-songwriter. He's called John Witherspoon. Really, really good. I know he runs an open mic or two around Liverpool. But yeah, I'm up for that. My favourite pub in Liverpool's oh fucking hell! It's across the road from the Philharmonic. Is it the Philharmonic Rooms or something like that?
Yep, yep, the Phil.
Yeah, yeah, I love it in there, man.
Yeah, nice bogs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the all night toilets.
Yeah,
yeah, my granddad's always used to. Well, when I was a kid, he wanted to take me in there, and there was a bloke at the door, and he was like, "Sorry, mate, you can't let kids in." And my granddad tried to leave me outside with a pack of crisps and a Diet Coke, but my mum wouldn't let him, so he was a bit pissed off about that. But he did get to take me in at some point later on in life.
love it, mate. Cheers.
No worries.
So I'll jump in very quick. Going to ask you about any bets that you might think for this weekend. Hopefully for not for the next couple of days because this will probably go out Thursday, Friday. But
Yeah.
I was doing a bit of digging on you earlier, and great to see John Martin's a big influence on you. Love a bit of John Martin. Went to see the John Martin project last year.
Right.
That was in Shrewsbury Cathedral, and that was a really really good
Oh,
event.
nice.
So yeah, and it comes across I think in some of your tracks as well. So yeah, really good to see. I think probably only me, you, and Ian know who John Martin is on the call. So we'll. Yeah, no, really good to hear. But a lot of our other guests, they're not allowed to bet because they're all in the sports game, so they can't actually do it. Have you got any? Do you fancy any bets for the weekend, Caleb?
I'm not a betting man, to be honest, mate. Um, I've tried in the past. Well, actually, I fell out with betting when I was 16 and I was allowed to buy scratch cards for the first time, and I didn't understand it properly. And it was like the scratchies that I used to buy, it was like I always thought if it was like if you find three in a row, but then about 2 years later, someone was like, no, it's just if you find three of them. Like say it was like three money bags or whatever. I was like, are you fucking serious? Like I've been chucking away scratchies for like 2 years. I could have been a millionaire. I didn't know. So from then on, like I just was like, oh fuck betting, it's fucking shit. But I used to like having a bet on the first game of the season when you're feeling good. You know, one of the only times as a Stoke fan anyway that you feel half decent about how things could turn out in the season to come. And but yeah, I'm not into the betting, to be honest. I always say I need to get on like the Super Six and stuff because it doesn't make sense not doing it, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I I tell you a good bet is to not fucking bet on Stoke. That's a good one.
Well, I was going to say they're playing Charlton tomorrow, so in an evening game. So go on, what's your prediction for that one?
Well, we don't traditionally do well in London, but I know Charlton dropped off. I know they're sort of heading towards relegation at the moment. I don't know if they will get relegated or not. I've not looked at it too extensively, but and I know that Nathan Jones is Charlton manager. Well, it was last time I checked. And Stoke fans fucking hate Nathan Jones because of when he manages us. So I don't know. I know the Stoke fans will obviously be up for it, but I don't think we've got any players that uh, were of the Nathan Jones era anymore. But we just can't fucking score at the moment. It's really depressing. But I'll probably go 0-0.
No, that was brilliant, Caleb. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And we'll make sure we're plugging your music on the pod as well. We'll
Nice
get
one.
a couple of tracks on and make sure they're playing on this one. And we'll put your prediction on 0-0. Let's see how it pans out on the on
Nice one,
what
mate.
Instagram says.
Cheers, mate. I really appreciate it, guys, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Really appreciate you plugging my tunes as well.
Cheers,
Yeah.
Caleb. Really
Well,
appreciate you coming on, mate.
Nice one, absolute pleasure, and yeah, if you or just Ian, just keep us posted when you post it. I'll obviously give it a share and all that.
Nice one, mate. I'll say, let us know if you fancy a Monday night pint in Liverpool, mate. I'll come and meet you.
Yeah, that sounds good. Nice one. Cheers,
All
boys.
right, take it easy, man.
cheers, Caleb. Take care, mate.
See you, mate.
Yeah,
See you later.
nice one.
Another top guest again, boys. That was great, that.
Yeah, good guy, isn't he?
Really funny lad, in. Really funny lad. Yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. So where do we want to go first? Betting or referees? What are we thinking? Let's do betting because we could be here forever with the referees bit. So sorry, Joel, you'll have to wait a minute.
Yeah, when we walked out the ground on Sunday, I was like, yeah, there's going to be a lot to talk about. Yeah, but I've come to terms with it now, so I've made sense of it. I know what I'm going to say. So
me and Joel were fucking fuming. We were fucking fuming, walking out, just going, "What the fucking hell's all this bollocks?" Honest to God, VAR just getting involved, poking their nose in when they're not invited. Just fuck off. Anyway, Kurt, what have you got for us this week, mate?
There's no Premier League this weekend, so I did a little bit of FA Cup.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So we did a little bit of FA Cup, and then I have one in Europe as well. FA Cup did Ipswich to advance. They're playing Wrexham. I mainly did Ipswich here. One, I think they're more gifted, just in general, and they're very good as a whole. But this is kind of a weird spot for Wrexham, who are in that last playoff spot. And while I imagine getting a cup run in for them would be something they would enjoy, they have bigger things to worry about. And going up again for the third or fourth year in a row or whatever it would be is probably a little bit more on their mind. So I'm going to go with a little bit of Ipswich again. I think they're more gifted and technically gifted, which helps quite a bit in extra time should it get there in penalties. Then we did Burnley -1.5. They're playing Mansfield. this is all Burnley have left. They're pretty much down, and I think they know that. I know, like, a lot of people, when you kind of look at these things and they're like, "Oh, they're going to keep fighting," and they are. But I know they know they're not very good, and I know when they're doing their match talks and they're doing their pre-game everything all week, they can feel it, and they look at the table every time. And this is a chance to kind of get away from all that. And you're playing a lower end team, and when they're, as you saw in the championship last year, when they're playing teams that they think they're better than, they're a little bit more open and they score goals and they run up and down the pitch and hold on to the ball. I think they can kind of run a little bit wild here. And the last one is in France, Strasbourg +1. They're at Marseille. Ever since the Chelsea manager left, they've had 6 games. They've won 6-0, 2-1. They went to Lille and won 4-1. They beat Monaco 3-1 in the Coupe de France, and then they lost their most recent game, but they had a red card in the 30th minute. Tough to deal with. And then their only other loss was PSG, who they outcreated in the game. They've played Monaco, PSG, Lille, outcreated them 9-3, 9-4 in expected goals in those 3 games. So they're playing well, and I don't know, it may be more of a freedom thing, or it may be, that Liam was keeping them in a bit of a box, and that's not his fault, or it's not a fault in general, but they just may be more suited to playing a bit more open. And now that the manager's gone, they've let the reins run a little bit, and they're going against the Marseille team we just watched play. They're super open. They're going to give up chances, and if Strasbourg are creating like they've been creating, there's no reason why they don't score a goal or 2 here. So it's tough for me to see them get blown away here. So Strasbourg +1 in that one.
Excellent stuff, and obviously you're on a good little run as well of results. So yeah, long may that continue. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And obviously FA Cup, European ones, bit tougher. Not really, sometimes in your wheelhouse, but definitely food for thought for us. Any additions, boys, you want to throw in?
No, just well done on Kurt. I think obviously 3 winners last week and 3 winners the week before. No, we picked 4, so 6 out the last 7. Kurt, so you're, as Feeney said, you're having a bit of a hot streak here. With the betting Nostradamus.
Yeah, it's been pretty good in the soccer recently, so long may it continue.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
Yeah. Did you throw a bet on the Super Bowl, Kurt?
Yeah, I had quite a few. The Super Bowl went how I figured it would go, so it was a good day. And the team I wanted to win won comfortably, and everything went well on Super Bowl Sunday.
Excellent. I imagine the Patriots must be like Man City over there. So,
yeah, and I live in the area where their fans are about. So they're constantly, all the people I know are Patriots fans. Everybody in the area is a Patriot fan. It's exhausting.
Absolutely. Now, great stuff, and I say, long may that winning streak continue. So yeah, very well done. We now turn to Joel. There was an absolute shit show on Sunday in the Liverpool versus Man City match. It was all VAR related. I'm not even going to talk about the match. I can't be bothered. It's pissing us all off, especially the first half. But Joel, we were putting the world to rights. So Joel and I had front seats for that absolute mess of the VAR. You could argue, by the letter of the law, it was all present and correct. But when common sense and the laws of the game don't really mix. Joel, what was your take?
Yeah, that's where the common sense and the laws of the game don't really mix, and then you end up with the pundits saying the spirit of the game phrase that they like to use to. You can't referee a game on vibes and how you want it to pan out and the spectacle and all that. The spirit of the game thing, and I'll start off with saying that is a loose term that's used far too freely for my liking about when we think that there should be a goal or a spectacle in a game. Don't get me wrong, on Sunday you saw me in the 105th minute pretty pissed off with the situation that was going on the pitch. and I've said this on a podcast before, because we didn't know what was happening. We saw the attack. Alisson's in the attacking half. Haaland gets the ball. Cherky's hit it. It's going in. We know it's going in. Haaland's get there. He's matched Szoboszlai for pace. They've pulled at each other. I said to you at the time, he's going to get sent off. You said it back. Don't pull him. When you saw that second pull, next thing it rolls in. Haaland just lies on the floor. Carnage. We're thinking, might get away with this here because he's pulled Szoboszlai. Stop the game. Let's have a look. VAR. Of course, we're going to look at it. He goes back, and obviously this allows the goal and red card Szoboszlai for denying said goal that didn't materially get denied.
And I guess that's go on.
No, go on.
I was just going to interject. I guess that's one of the main things that we're all talking about. Straight away, me and you went, it's Dogso. Straight away, that's what it is. But the ball went into the net. A goal was scored. So I understand it's all irrelevant, but there was still a goal scored. So how has Dogso come into it?
Yeah. Well, there's another Dogso conversation we'll have in a minute, but I stupidly listened to TalkSport on my way home from the match, which you shouldn't do on the way home on a Sunday night after you've got beat and you're thinking, I've got work tomorrow, we just got beat. Most depressing moment of the whole week. Dermot Gallagher rings up. Well, he's in the studio with I can't remember who he was on with. One of the Spurs fans who presents it. And Alan Pardew. And Alan Pardew can't get his head wrapped around what's happened. And he goes to him. He explains the situation in reverse. So he says, well, right, we've given the goal. Rewind that, check for the most recent thing to the goal. There's a foul on Szoboszlai, so we can't clear it off the goal line. Right. So you can't allow that goal, but then go back and he's rewound it. There's been another foul on the edge of the box, which stopped Haaland getting hold of the ball and getting near to the line. So he hasn't denied the goal at that point because someone else has hit it and it's going to roll in. But then there becomes another pull and then there's a decision to make, and you've probably seen all this on Ref Watch and TalkSport, Sky Sports News, all that's all been covered all this week. Once again, I don't think that the actual decision was wrong. I don't think there was that much outrage by Liverpool fans now to say, you know what, it shouldn't have been sent off because that was the right decision. Pissed off at the time. It didn't really have that much effect on the result because we were getting beat 2-1 anyway. It would have been 3-1 had that goal have counted. It meant nothing really, but again, what come into it was the farce. That was VAR again. Now, even though I think the decision was right, us sitting in the ground, we had no idea what was going on. We stood there for another 3 minutes, 4 minutes. It's going on. I just said to you in the end, they scored the goal. Just leave it. There doesn't need to be a red card. And then he goes on the announcements and he says after review, there's been a careless foul by Haaland. So I thought, yeah, straight away, it's been disallowed. No problem. And then he goes, however, there was another foul by Szoboszlai on Haaland. Therefore, it's a denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity. It's a red card and a direct free kick. Now, I thought he was referring to the foul that he made in the box. And when he said direct free kick, that can be used in terms of the law and how it's written to be a penalty. So I thought they're getting a penalty for a goal that they've already scored and our player's getting sent off. It was just a farce, wasn't it? It's 105 minutes gone in the game. Szoboszlai walks. Pep and Arne Slot after the game both come out and saying it's ridiculous. But I go back to the spirit of the game argument and refereeing from a vibe or how the stadium feels. You can't do that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Ultimately, I think the right decision got reached as much as I'm pissed off that Szoboszlai's not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not going to suffer for that as well, but it is what it is. And I think just to touch upon one point you made there about, again, and we've spoken about this, the in-stadium experience when it comes to these type of decisions.
Yeah.
It's absolutely woeful. No one in the stadium could understand the decision, what was being made, because the tannoy was an absolute joke. But again, the constant thing is, well, it's not a constant thing. It's a complete lack of information in stadium. You get the odd VAR flash up on the scoreboards, but there's no running commentary. You don't understand what's happening. You don't know why you're waiting, and it just causes murder. I guess, boys, me and Joel were there. That was our experience, which was pretty shit. Ian, Kirk, Col, you were at home. Col, we had very indifferent views about Kocays, which we know about. But I guess, how did you guys see how it was all unfolding at the end of the game?
Honestly, mate, as soon as the ball crossed the line, I turned the telly off. It's just fucking had enough. So
don't blame you.
Yeah. I just felt, fuck this, turned it off, mate. And I go to the gym on a Sunday night, so that was me done, mate. So yeah.
Ian, I was the same. 2-1, 3-1. There was 10 seconds left to make a difference. Do you know what I mean? So it was over. And I watched the what's it called? The Good, the Bad, and This Is Football with Scholes and Nicky Butt, and they were on about it, and that they were highlighting that and making a big segment out of it as well. And I just thought, yeah, it does take it out the game because all the time it wastes as well. But there was also other instances in the game as well, which because their point was at the end of the season that one goal could make a difference to someone getting in the Champions League and someone not. And I thought, there's loads of instances in the matches that can make it, make a difference. Salah, should he have been red carded? Salah, going to score and getting pulled back. You could pick and choose loads of things, couldn't you? So I'm not sure it made that much difference to me, but it was. I can understand you being in the stadium thinking, what's going on here?
Absolutely. Kate, did you get to see it yourself?
Yeah, I was watching it. I think it's a little bit different. I haven't been to Anfield and I haven't looked around, but you guys don't have any televisions there, like where you can see it, right? That's what I think is super frustrating because when you're watching it on TV, they're showing it a bunch. Like I'm seeing the incident a ton, and like as soon as I saw it, I saw it live and went, okay, and like I was like, oh, he's gonna get sent off there before the ball went in, and then the ball went in, and I was like, oh, maybe they'll just let it run. But then when you see it a bunch of times, you at least know what's happening. I can understand the frustration in the stadium when you don't see anything. That doesn't happen here because all these stadiums have big old TVs, and anytime something's happening, you're at least watching it, and you're seeing for yourself what's going on. You guys see it live, and then you get nothing for 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then the ref comes out and speaks on it, which is a little bit frustrating. The decision itself, like I thought, was correct. I ever since VAR, I've gotten used to it because I know that because VAR is here, they're going to have to dissect everything because the original reason was they're missing some things. But when you have a camera and a million views of it, you can't just like look at it and just because people always want only if it's like only if you can like look at it as in clear and obvious. Like there's no when you have a camera and you have a bunch of views on it, there is no clear and obvious. It's this or that. So I always knew that this would come this way, and I understand like the frustration and all that, but I've gotten so used to it that it doesn't bug me too much anymore. And again, I get to see it like 6 or 7 times on TV. And I think that's the thing that bugs you guys in particular, that you have no idea what's happening. You don't know what they're looking at. There could be 3 or 4 different things happening. It could be like an offside in a regular goal that happened 2 phases of play before. You get some of those, and I imagine in the stadium, you're like, what could they even be looking at here? And it's an offside 26 passes ago. But on TV, we get to see it right away. So I understand the frustration. I thought the call was correct, but
And I think there's a bit of ambiguity around that. So, as you rightly say, we don't see what's going on in the stadium. They do have TVs in the concourse, but they've even stopped showing the live broadcast because basically people are just going down and staying on the ale and not going and watching the football. But some of the stadiums, I think Everton have got a really big screen in the corner. I know some of the more modern stadiums now have all that.
Although, as frustrated as I was with not being able to see a replay in the ground, and as much of a luxury as it is when you're sat at home, I'd rather not see it. You know, when you see it in more European games, probably where they show a big replay on the TV and they sort of start booing the ref or the player who's missed a chance or something like that. I'm thinking you'd rather not see it backwards because is he influencing? Is that going to influence the decision or?
I suppose what's hard, you're paying your money to watch it in a stadium, and then you're texting the group chat to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas before VAR, it happens in real time. The referee's decision got made. That was it. So as a fan, you could celebrate it or not celebrate it. Whereas now VAR kicks in. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 minutes. You don't know what's going on. You're like Safini's WhatsApping our WhatsApp group. Tell them what's going on. And he's the one there. So it is a bit of a mad experience, that really, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to him what everyone's saying, what people are saying. And then I'm texting me dad and my brother who were also referees saying, there was another one earlier on in the second half. I said, was that a penalty? And it was the first half. I said, was that a penalty? Thought it was nailed on in the ground. They just went, no. Just showed Feeney and went, yeah, fair enough. It wasn't a pen.
Yeah. Would you keep VAR or would you get rid of it now?
I'd keep it. It just needs better use of it.
Would you rather they only had a certain allocation of time, 10, 15 seconds to make a decision, and if they made the wrong decision, we have to live with it? Would that be an idea?
Possibly, but I think this is a debate that's going to go on forevermore. It happens with the offside as well, doesn't it? You'd think the offsides are more clear cut and you're either offside or you're not. They're the ones that tend to take the longest.
I think the offside should just go off the feet. All this armpits and everything else, just ridiculous. On the feet, you can make a quick call on it. That would speed it up for me.
For me though, offside is a line. You're either one side of it or you're on the other side. No matter where you measure it from, there's going to be a margin for error.
Yeah.
And it's going to take you some time to get to that decision.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's of any benefit to change where it's measured from that perspective. If you want to make a game more attacking, then you go with the Arsene Wenger approach, don't you? But
yeah, I think I've seen some ones where they're debating when they're putting the line from the floor going up to the body, and they're debating because the shirt and whatnot, what part it is, with the boots on the floor, and you can see the cuts of the grass. There's no debate; it's just there, isn't it?
Yeah, and then probably benefited the doubt to the attacker. If anything.
Yeah, because attackers running forward and defenders are going that way. So that way you are getting an advantage, aren't you? Because if you're pushing out, defender, you're leaning forward. If you're running as an attacker, you're leaning forward. So it goes on your feet. That way you get an advantage.
Just fuck the offside off. It's causing more hassle than what it's worth. So let's just go along more fantastic.
Completely get rid of it like Dixie did.
Yeah, fuck it. The amount of bullshit we deal with through offsides is just ridiculous. Just get rid of it. It's a contentious one, but let's see what happens. Be a laugh.
Yeah, should we do a little bit of slot talk before we close out then? Should we have a little bit of Liverpool talk? So just some Liverpool stats very quick. We are now closer to 18th place in the league than we are to first. We've equalled the most late winners conceded in a Premier League era. So again, still with X amount of games to go. And 6 wins of the last 20 Premiership games. Ian, I'll start off with you. Slot, keep until the end of the season now, or get an interim manager? What are your thoughts?
All depends on this week, mate. Wednesday and Saturday. I don't know. Obviously, I've been to a few games this season. I normally average about 3 or 4, but I've been 6, maybe 7 this season. I just think if you lose the next 2, maybe it's time to go. Maybe it's controversial here, but I think you're going to be losing the promoted side who we couldn't beat, and then obviously at the FA Cup, give it to either Gerrard or just get Alonso in. But it's all based on these 2 games. You need 2 wins, simple as that, mate. So, I'll do it till the end of the season, mate, and then come back to Brookie after that.
Yeah. Yes. What about yourself? Do you still think we should keep until the end of the season, or do you think there's a bit more pressure on him as the weeks go by?
I don't know. I think I'm still in the vein that they won't do it unless Alonso's lined up. Like, I just don't think they will. Like, if this felt like, I don't know if this feels worse. Like, it doesn't feel as bad as, remember the end of Rodgers' kind of tender? It was like, how is he still in the job over the summer? We lost the final game of the year 6-1 to Stoke, and then it was like, he's got to go, and then Rodgers is still here, and then Klopp showed it. Like, Klopp opened up, and they were like, oh, okay, we'll do the change now. And it was just on the back of Rodgers getting like good results as well, which was funny. But I don't know if they change. Coming into the year after everything that happened over the summer, I was very much gap year. And it's gone a little bit worse than I thought it would have originally. But my original thought for the year was I don't have expectations for this. This is a super, super abnormal situation for a squad, a manager, a club, all that. There's no integration period because of what happened to Jota. And for the players who are still here, football isn't even on their mind, really, for a long time. It depends. I mean, it depends on how people grieve. Some people are different. It might take a couple weeks. It might take a couple months. You can still see Salah get very like choked up when the 20th minute comes around and they show him, and he kind of you can see him like physically dip a little bit when they show him in those moments and stuff. So I'm a little bit more sympathetic to what's happening, I think, than, well, maybe others or whatever it may be. But there's no denying that the results are not good, obviously. But my thought coming into the year was this was a gap year, and that hasn't necessarily changed. I don't mind if there's a change. I don't mind if Alonso comes in and stuff like that. But I'm a little bit more sympathetic to kind of what's happened this year as a whole.
You are right though, because a lot of the games we're losing at a coin flip, aren't they? You know, it's games where we've had 12 shots, they've had 12 shots, and we've maybe been beat. A lot of the games just by the odd goal, and the games where we've maybe been drawn and we've tried to push to get the winner, and we've had the sucker punch sometimes. So you are right, and I think what you're saying there is it might just be a case, get to the end of the season, work out what's went well, what hasn't went well, reassess and go again. I just think that 6 wins out of 20 games, I think FSG want to keep him there, such as doing the PR exercise, what they've done fairly recently. So they want to keep him in the hot seat. But if they keep losing and get knocked out these cups, yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult.
I'm sure there's a feeling from higher up in Liverpool that like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to get rid of you because I think you're a good manager and you've been through a ton, but also it's a results-based business, you know? You got to win some games and again, I do feel sorry for him. I mean, how many points have we dropped from Kanate, Van Dijk, Allison mistakes just on their own? Just like silly little things on their own that happened the other day, went from a draw to a loss, right? In the City game, Allison just coming out and missing. That PSV game where we came out, we were doing just fine, and then Kanate penalty, Van Dijk or it was the Van Dijk handball, the Leeds game, Kanate penalty. Like we've lost so many things to like individual errors and the Kanate contract and it's a lot, but I completely understand results at some stage.
Yeah, and tomorrow night we've got your favourite team, Sunderland, haven't we?
Just an unbelievable team they are.
Will we win tomorrow? Let's finish on that note, Kurt, and wrap up. Will we get a win tomorrow? What's your score prediction tomorrow, Kurt?
Tomorrow, 2-1.
2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah.
E, what do you reckon tomorrow? Ted, quick.
3-1 for the mighty Reds.
Yeah, I've actually done a draw. I always do Liverpool to win. I've done a draw and we predict a 1-1. So there we go. Let's see how we get on. Anything else you want to cover off, lads, before we call it a night?
Just very quickly, massive weekend coming up for my team. We're in a quarter-final on Sunday. Still 9 points off top with 3 games in hand. So
what's your goal difference?
Oof, I've not even looked that far, mate, yet. We won 6-3 at the weekend.
Yeah.
Brilliant result. So our striker Mikey scored a wonder goal. Even their right back was clapping. So
was he? So Brookie, you're going for the double then, yeah?
Mate, yeah. That'd be the dream, man. Yeah, that'd be the dream.
Oh, well, listen, I hope you get it over the finish line, mate. It's been a long season, but whatever the result, it seems like you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, still good. I think about maybe 8 or 10 league games left, and obviously this cup. So hopefully, 3 more games in the cup.
Yeah, and just on our fancy footy, I'm still flying the flag for the pre-match mix. By the way, I think I'm in 7th place out of that big lead. I'm trying to hang in there, but it's tough.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah, we go. Pedro's just scored. I've just clicked on the results then, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, I've got him.
Right, gents.
Good one.
He was brilliant. Tim really enjoyed it, mate.
Top lad, isn't he?
Yeah,
great lad.
Really good, really good.
Yeah, we'll come over with him when he does his world tour stay at Kurt's gaff. So.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody can hang out in the house.
Nice one.
Hey, Kurt, he was pretty quick spotting that couch, wasn't he?
I know. I didn't even think you could see it over my shoulders originally.
Hey, I've done 15 episodes. I didn't know you had a couch in the background.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Cheers, lads. All the best. Have a good one.
Have a good one. See you later, boys.
Have a good one, guys.